Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting day at RNUG, the Russian Nodes User Group Conference. This is the session HCL Verse and what is next. My name is Thomas Hampel and I'm the host for today's session. Let me quickly introduce ourselves. Like I said, I'm Thomas Hampel. I'm the director at HCL Product Management. I'm responsible for the Domino server, the Nomad product portfolio, and all things security. And with me on stage is my colleague Agnes. She is the product manager for HCL Verse, which is the topic of today. And yeah, we're excited to provide you some insights on the product and what's about to come. So Agnes, just say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, this is Agnes.
All right. Before handing over to Agnes, I would like to clarify a few things here for this presentation. First of all, we are going to explain what we are going to do in the future. So that's why I have to add this legal disclaimer. So future plans may change. Please be aware of that. And along the presentation, along our slides, along the slides, I think you will have a number of questions. There is a Q&A, a question and answer capability. So please drop your questions into the chat and we are trying to respond to them at the end of the presentation when, you know, picking up your questions and hopefully being able to respond to them. Okay, and with that, I'd like to hand over to our product manager, Agnes. Yeah, tell us what's new in HCL Verse.
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. So I'm Agnes, product manager for Verse. So welcome to the Domino Verse section. And today I would like to walk you through our webmail product Verse, and including the latest update and also our upcoming roadmap. And I'm also going to share a preview of some of the exciting features in the coming releases. So it may be the first time for some of you to hear about Verse, and let me give you some background about it. So what exactly is Verse? Verse is our web-based mail solution which runs on Domino. And if you already have Domino server set up today, you can get the package from FlexNet and install it, and you can run it on your Domino server. Verse offers you a secure, fast, and modern mail experience, which allows you to work smartly. And with the PWA technology, you can make Verse as one of your installed apps on your OS, either Mac or Windows. So in our latest feature release, which was Verse 2.0, we offered a number of new features, such as the new calendar React form, mail rules, send and file support, and of course, the ability to run Verse as an installed app with the PWA technology. And earlier this week, we just released we just have a new minor release version 2.0.1, and this is for you. Okay, we did it during RNUG. Therefore, you are the first one for us to talk publicly about this release. And you may have a question, so what's special about this release? In 2.0.1, we support the HEAD request for 2 endpoints, and a lot of improvement was made about languages and also same-time awareness. For instance, you can open the help documentation that matches your language in Verse right now. And also, if your user doesn't have an internet address in that, it doesn't matter. So same-time awareness will still work for the user. So that's the enhancement that we have made in this release. And there are also a lot more, which you can list in our knowledge in our help site and also with our knowledge article. So customers love Verse, but they want the local application to work offline. We do have the offline capability in Verse, which is to provide an offline access for 30 days. But that is not enough for our customers, and that's why we leverage a new technology called Service Worker, which is the foundation of progressive web app. And what is progressive web app? So it is it is a technology which allows us to run on a web application with native application handling properties. So that means if you are using Mac today, when you open the PWA of Verse, you can find its icon in your dock. So instead of building a real native application for Verse, why do we choose to adopt the PWA technology? The answer is very simple. First, it has a lower storage space than a normal native app. Second, it offers you a consistent user experience. And after installing it on your OS, it is the same UI that you have been using in the browser. And all the behavior and also experience are the same. And third, it is continuously updated. So when there is an update in the web application, the Verse installer app will also get the updates. So you don't need to go to the App Store and to update your apps. There's no need for doing that. And that is why we want to promote PWA into our customers, and we hope that our customers can enjoy the benefit of it. Now, so I prepared a demo for the PWA, and let's see how to install Verse on your OS. So there is a dialog box pop up in your browser and asks you if you want to install it. After clicking install, it will now become an application in your Mac. And you can see it looks like the installed application, and you can search it, and with an icon in your dock right now, you can see there. So it looks and behaves the same as what you can have in the browser. And PWA is much more convenient for user instead of opening a web page. And I hope you like this feature. So I have talked a lot about the PWA, and if you have joined some of the section earlier this week, you may have heard about that earlier, that PWA is one of our main direction, and we are getting PWA for all our products now, including Nomad, Verse, Same Time, and also Connections. And at the end, you can see on the right-hand side with the purple box that we are talking about is that we are going to unify all these products into one product called Project Yuzu. If you want to know more about what Project Yuzu is, please see the presentation that Andrew Manby was done on Monday. And he talked about the journey for digital office and also the integration between the PWAs. So we talked a lot about the features and about Verse. So why you need to use Verse and what are the benefits that Verse can bring to you. And I can tell you it's simple. If you look for an email solution with a simple, easy to navigate user experience with enterprise security, Verse is the best option for you. You can also leverage our extension points to customize the mail experience for your user in terms of logo, navigation bar, and also mail compose view, etc. This is very important to customers who want to do more than mails. Sometimes you want to add maybe integration in Verse and then add some more like logo in Verse, then you can also do that. And in the Nooks client today, you can customize the mail template. But in the case of Verse, we do it in a different way, is that we leverage the latest web technology for customization. And therefore, we use the JavaScript API endpoints for you to do the customization. And with the extension that I just talked about, we actually have document which contains a full list of extension points and example online. So if you're interested in it, so feel free to take a look of the documentation and let us know if you run into any problem when you try to integrate Verse using the extension point. So we talked about the features and benefit of Verse. Now we will come to the upcoming roadmap about Verse. There are a few aspects that we are working on right now. And we know we are constantly hearing like feedback from customers and users about how to improve Verse. And one of the major enhancements that we are going to make is to find your available time in the graphical representation. So today, if you're using RNUG or NUG client, if you try to find someone's availability, you can see our dialog box, which shows you our others availability. And with scrolling in the dialog box, you can see their free time slot. But in Verse, we want to do it differently because Verse has a different design for the calendar view. We have a calendar grid view, and therefore we want to leverage the grid view in Verse today to bring a new user experience about the find available time. And that is something that we are currently working on right now, and we wish that we could get it out as soon as possible for our user to try it. And besides this feature, we are also working on some other important features like photos from NAP, as mine, archive document, etc. And among all the features that you can see in here, if you look at the right-hand side, we also have one critical aspect that we are working on is the cross-product integration. It is one of the major focus that we have for next year. We understand the importance of it in our portfolio, and especially when a lot of customers are not just using Verse, you are using same time and also connection at the same time. And therefore, it is really important to have the tighter integration between all these products. And one of the features that we are working on under this aspect is that we will have the new same time and Verse integration experience with the same time web chat client. And therefore you won't when you use the same time integration, you don't need to open a new dialog box each time. And with the new web chat, you can have it in your browser. So I hope you are also using Verse iOS and Android because this is also two different products that we are continually investing in. So Verse iOS and Verse Android are two different products in our portfolio because of the difference of the OS. So we have two different code streams for both of this product. And currently there is a feature gap between both of this product. And what we are working on is that we are trying to close the gap between that. And that's why we, apart from adding new features to the product, we are also adding some of the parity items. For instance, if you can see in here, one of the new features that we have put into Verse iOS is the sub-based authentication. These features originally have already been exist in Verse Android for a while, but it wasn't in the iOS, and it creates some inconvenience to our customers because when they roll out a sub-base of authentication, they want to do it for all their users. And that's why we add this back to Verse iOS. And in the previous release, we also added the features of creating private calendar events in iOS. So that is also one of the Android parity that we have. And in the upcoming future, what we are going to add into the product will be like SAML login, dark mode, and also TOTP. And these are the security enhancement and also like enhancement on the UI that we will want to make. So this is my favorite section, demo for upcoming new features. And today we have 2 demos. The first one is photos from Domino Nap. And currently you can have your profile icons configured in Verse, but it has to be using connection or Gravatar. So if you have connection or set up today, you can leverage the profile icon in connection and get it configured as your icon in Verse too. But this is not enough for our customers, and that's why we take a step forward is to support the photos from Domino Nap. And now you can attach the photos directly. If you have an image attached to your personal document, or if you already have a photo URL in your NSF, and now it can be used as your profile icon in Verse. And yes, we also supported animated GIF, and that is something I'm going to show in the demo too. While for the second one is an extension that we have recently created, and it's called Modify on Send. It is not yet available right now, but we are going to have it in the coming releases. And with this extension, you can add custom code to your email subject and also body when sending outbound email. And I'm going to show how it works in our demo. So let's take a look of the first one. This is the photos from that. So now I'm going to see Jerry's NSF. Okay, Jerry has an animated GIF in his NSF. Okay, so I'm going to add Jerry to my important to me bar. So when I added him to it, I can see the GIF working well. Okay, now it's Charlie. Charlie has a static image photo URL. And okay, it works too. So finally, we have an image attachment in the NSF. And when I try to search Barry, okay, I can see Barry is here. So I add it and it all being shown in the important to me bar. So if you want to have your animated GIF, so add it to it. So I'm going to find one for myself too. So I hope you like this feature.
Indeed, Agnes, I have to say I'm already looking for an animated GIF for myself to make using Verse a little bit more fun. So this is a very cool enhancement that our customers will love.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. So, yeah. And yeah, so thank you, Thomas. And the second one is is about the modify on send extension. So what does that mean by modify on send? It means that the mail UI is modified when you click on the send button. So you can see in here, we have a dialog and we have the send button at the right corner. And this will be a feature that is super useful for big organization and also government, especially when they want to classify the email for especially when they want to have a classification for the emails that they try to send out. So let's take a look of it. So here we are sending the email, and in some cases you want to classify it. And now I can choose classify and submitted it. And the email was sent. And when I reload, I can see that, okay, we got the classified marking into the mail subject and also at the mail body. So if you reply the email and now maybe the content changed and you also want to change the classified marking. So no worries, you can also do that. So now I can select another classified marking to be protected. So I just added protected into the content to just for distinguish. and go back to there. Okay, protected. Now, okay, it's done with the new marking in the body and also at the end of the male body, you can have the marking. So this is just one of the example about how you can use extension. So if you have other use case that you want to alter the email subjects and also add lines to your male body, and you can use this extension to achieve that. So this is the end of our demo today. And now, if you haven't tried Verse yet, so get it on FastNet today. It is available in our partner pack. And also, if you are existing user for Verse right now, we welcome you to submit your idea on AHA. So just go to our AHA site and share your ideas and thoughts with us. We definitely want to hear about that, and we would love to put more new innovation in our product in the future. All right, so this is the Q&A section. So any questions so far?
Thank you, Agnes, for providing us with an overview of what's new in Verse. And I hope that Vlad is going to join us for summarizing questions that the audience has submitted in the last couple of minutes. So Vlad, hello, by the way.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, we have some questions from audience, some technical and strategic ones, so roadmap style. So some of the customers right now run iNodes, and would you recommend for them to plan, let's say, upgrade to Verse in near future? How does it work together?
Whom are you asking? Or who would like to take this question? Agnes, would you like to?
Yes, I can give some information first, and maybe Thomas can also jump in to give some additional information. So definitely we will recommend our user to get on Verse because it offers a faster and moderner mail experience, and also because RNUG was built with web technology many years ago, so our resources will be focused on Verse instead. So if you want to get a latest new features, so you should get on to Verse. And while I think this question also involve some ideas about what's our plan for RNUG. So currently we will still support RNUG in 12, but that is definitely not our main resources and also focus on. So that's why we will recommend you to go to Verse. So Thomas, would you want to add some additional information?
You already, you said everything, I think. If you are working with Domino in the last 10, 20 years, you know that iNodes is based on the Domino template technology, and it has evolved over the last couple of years. But Verse was a complete new development using the latest web development technologies. And so it's providing a faster user experience, more modern technologies behind the scene. So even though Verse will be the first choice for your webmail experience, iNodes technically still is around iNodes still functions. But I think customers will understand that our investment will be in the newer technology and the newer stack, so to say. Verse will see more and more features in the future, and yeah, iNodes being existent in the V12 product frame. Yeah, also from a resource perspective, I think, Agnes, you just did this in the demo, such as the ability to run offline in iNodes. That was based on, I think, an ActiveX plugin, which is a technology that no longer is supported. That actually was decommissioned a long time ago. And so working offline in the web technology world requires, like the latest capabilities, like for instance, using HTML5, using PWA to provide a user experience on your desktop that leverages the browser technologies, but is wrapping it into a PWA, what you've just seen, so that from an end user's point of view, the Verse PWA looks like a desktop application and it behaves like a desktop application, but technically it is just a browser application with an icon on your desktop. That's why it was possible to install it so quickly. I mean, you've seen this in the video that Agnes just had to click a little icon on the top right-hand corner of her screen, and all of a sudden it was installed. So you do not have to copy any files to your hard disk. You do not even need admin permissions on your desktop to install the Verse PWA. It's just something that just works. And that's why the recommendation to customers, Vlad, to answer your question, is go for HCL Verse.
Yeah, and one comment from my side. When I'm back from vacation, I always run Verse, because what I like is that I can do all my actions with few clicks. It's just awesome. I practice getting things done from David Allen, who says how you need to process, mails and to get less stress and to be more efficient. And I think Verse designed it in really, really good way to just follow this methodology. So great work. Great work.
Indeed. We hear this quite a lot, that people like the user interface. I would like to quote the CIO of a company. He said they are migrating to Verse, and he was assuming that it was a migration project in order to move data from one server to the other in order to provide this new user interface to all the end users. But in fact, as a Domino administrator, you know that installing Verse is really, really easy. All you have to do is to take a zip file. By the way, Verse is free of charge for, it's part of your entitlement of your environment. And it's a zip file that you just extract to your Domino server. There are some small configuration steps. I think it takes like 5 minutes, and then you have Verse deployed in your environment as an additional user interface. So make your users happy, deploy Verse.
Thank you, Thomas. And I have a question. I think, as far as I know, the Verse requires SSL. And how do we need something else like proxies, balancers? Does it work with F5, some popular load balancing, let's say, solutions?
Yeah, infrastructure questions. That's my favorite. Yes, indeed. In 2020, well, in 2021, you should protect any web application with a proper SSL certificate. And you can do this today by installing an SSL certificate in your Domino server that works in version 9, version 10, version 11. But the installation of an SSL certificate still is a little bit complicated. It requires several steps. You have to copy some files from one server to another. There was a session we had yesterday with Daniel Nashett about security in Domino V12. So please watch the replay and you will see that deploying SSL certificates in Domino V12 is going to be a lot easier than before. It just is one single click and then your server is protected with an up-to-date certificate. Of course, if you have a reverse proxy in place, you can put this proxy in front of Domino. This may be your decision because if you have set up the infrastructure in this way, you can, of course, do this. We had a presentation yesterday about HCL SafeLinks as a proxy server, or SafeLinks is a product that can do VPN and a reverse proxy in one. And HCL SafeLinks is also a product that is included in your Nodes Domino CCB license. So if you want to have a proxy server in front of your Domino servers, well, go with safe links because it's just part of your license. And if you already have a big, very expensive hardware called big IPv5, or just as an example, then yeah, of course, you can use this and configure it as a load balancer or proxy in front of your Domino servers. So there are many options, but it's good news. It will be easier to deploy. Domino can very well hook into your existing IT environment, whether you are running a proxy, whether you're running it on hardware, and if not, feel free to use safe links, just as a little reminder.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And you answered with one answer to, I think, 2 questions at least. I have actually more, so we have a lot of questions, so I don't know if we will manage to answer them in next 20 minutes, but wow. I'm firing the next one. So what need to be done to see the employee photos from Domino directory? Do we need to enable some VOP feature like nodes INI parameter, or it's by default? Can you put some? We just have a question
that's a good question, because what Agnes was showing was the preview of the next release of Verse that is going to be provided soon. And with that, we are going to release the documentation. To admit, I don't know everything. I would have to check back. Or Agnes, do you know which configuration parameters you need to set? Is there a nodes INI variable that you have to enable in order to make it work? Or will this just work?
As far as I know, this will just work. You don't need to have enable the INI settings. So if you have photos configured already, not configured, available in your personal documents, then it will be also displayed in Verse in that case. So this is what I know right now, but of course, like more details will be described in the documentation. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. As far as I know, in same time, I think we had when you configure the business cards, there is a field called JPEG photo, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah,
I assume it will be the same one. So all you need to do is just populate photos, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
One more question concerning the actions or extension of the verse. Is there a way to send an email, like, like in subform in Notes, which has some buttons to accept or reject something, so the mail can interact with backend applications?
That's a very specific development question. I can only refer to the documentation for the extension points. And of course, the extensions allow to run your own code and to integrate with or to inject your elements, your design elements, your features into the Verse user interface. We have published a couple of examples, and let me go through if there is an example of sending.
I think there were hooks, right?
Yeah, there are hooks that hook into the mail send functionality. So before you send the email, you can say, at this point in time, I would like to run my own extension. I would like to do something more. What Agnes was just showing was, for instance, to require users to specify the security classification of an outbound email, which is important for regulated industries. And you cannot send an email without having made a decision. So, but the question I think you ask is, when you click this button, can you create 2 mails or something like this? And I think this requires a closer look to the documentation and may also interfere with mail rules or things that you can do on the server side. Yeah, you could say, like, if this happens, then send a copy of the email over here. So server-side mail rules may also be an option to get this done. But it's a bit too unspecific, this question, to answer it with a simple yes or no.
I see. And another question, do you have plans to, you mentioned that you plan more close integration with same time premium, right? And what are the plans for telephony? Because this is something, you know, we are working in virtual environment, and I think integration with SIP and telephony and video conferencing is really important.
Yeah, I think this is more a question to Agnes. Just one comment from my point of view, that in the last couple of months, I mean, since COVID-19 started, my desktop telephone here was almost never used because everything just is online conferences. It's faster, it's more convenient, and it doesn't cost any money when calling internationally. But yeah, I understand there is a need for, there are customers who would like to have telephony integration services. So Agnes, is there anything you can say about it?
I think Thomas, you also say what I want to say because online meeting now is mostly adopted by our user, and so like integration with online meeting will be a higher priority. But I know like same time is also going to have the telephony support, and that's why maybe in the future we will also take this into consideration about supporting the telephony integration. And besides telephony, I think because we also have requests from customers asking for support integration with different online meeting conference. So for example, because they may not just use only one online conference. And that's why I think this is also one of the aspects that we are looking into right now is to how to provide such an integration in Verse today to cater the need. So yep, I think that will be my answer. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much. And I think we have more questions. Is it possible to change the like unread type of email? So right now it's bold. Some people like red, but I think the question is a bit broader. Can we do some styling of Verse in, I don't know, for corporate colors, something like this?
Yes, and we've seen some people out there who have applied some crazy designs. They have been very creative in tweaking the user interface of Verse. Since these were prototypes, the tweaks they have done were made on the client side. So they had a browser plugin, or say browser extension, that was changing the HTML and CSS definitions that we are populating. And so to say, you can completely make it your own if you want it to be. There are some extension points that we can offer. So I would like you to refer the audience to our documentation. So maybe can we pass the link around as in the deck or in the handout later on?
Yeah, you can just send me privately and I will share with the audience right now. So yeah. Just type me and I think everybody will get it in the chat. So it's, yeah, really easy.
Okay, so I just sent you the link. That's what you can distribute. Agnes, anything you want to add about customizing the user interface with custom colors, custom logos, whatever?
No, I think basically you cover it. And then apart from that, you can also customize the mail compose view. So some of our user, they will want to add, because of their specific workflow, they may want to add like additional button to the mail compose view. And that is also something that could be achieved via our extension. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised, but questions are just coming in, and we have more questions. So, but I think I have an answer. So, is it possible to install a Verse together with Domino? So it's kind of included in Domino installation.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, okay, I understand. That's a good question, by the way. I need to explain this a bit more. So Verse is running on top of Domino. So of course you have to have a Domino server, and then you can install Verse on top of it just by taking the zip file, extracting the zip file, like I explained before. But as we move on with the product, the question that customers have is, why do I need to install two separate product components? Can it be included in the Domino installation package? And yes, we are thinking about doing this and making it easier, at least to get started. There are some obstacles along the way which is more in the installer of the product. So because Verse has a much faster release cycle than we release Domino updates and Domino patches. So when you install Domino and have Verse integrated, being able to apply an update to Verse and then later apply an update to Domino is creating an update conflict. So that needs to be handled. We are looking into this and how to make it easier so that as an administrator, you can then install just one product and have a good starting point. Nevertheless, there are also reasons where people only want to run an application server and they do not want to install Verse. That's why it's like two separate packages. However, even though it's two separate packages, it's still the same license. So yeah, it's your choice where to install it and where to enable Verse.
Thank you. And I think installing Verse is really, really easy because I'm doing also a training. And when we do training, we have a Verse installation workshop. And from my experience, you set few node signing parameters, you check SSL, and all you have to do is just copy extracted files to right directory. So just verification, if you are copying to right directory, takes me 90% of time. So I triple check it, and then you run HTTP and its Verse goes up. So it's really, really easy. So I think it's a great job done. We have, again, more question. Is it possible to take a look at more, let's say, email addresses like Delegation? I think it was enabled already, but you need a VOP feature for that.
Yeah, Delegation is already in place in Verse. So today in Verse, we support mail and calendar delegation, which you could enable it at the right corner of Verse. And then if you're talking about like more address, like multiple accounts, then I think that's a very popular ideas in AHA and also from our customers. So we are currently considering it and for this feature, and probably we will take it into our future roadmap. So yeah. Anything, Thomas? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to say, we need to explain this again, just to make sure that everybody is aware that you can access someone else's mail file, and the feature is available at the top right-hand corner. So you can define which additional mail files you would like to open. Of course, you have to have access to that other mail file. Otherwise, of course, you will not get in. But yeah, checking your colleague's mail file, or the typical situation when a secretary wants to manage the appointments of the manager, that can be done already. And if you have any more ideas, like Agnes said, please go to our ideas portal, domino.ideas.aha.io, and submit your request for a new feature.
Thank you very much. I think we covered at least, it seems to me, a majority of questions. So I think I never seen so much questions in previous sessions. So great work done. Thank you very much, Agnes, Thomas, translator. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a great rest of the day.
Yep. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.